Oh, we had a couple of boys that had just minor colds and stuff during the week, so we tried to manage that. A couple didn't train on the Wednesday night, so I was just a little bit concerned about that. And then Stuart Taverner went down on Friday, so we're just hoping it wasn't going through the whole squad. So yeah, in the end, it looked like it was okay. Well, one thing we know about Centrals is that they're very competitive. I think with Paul Thomas coming on board this year, looks like he's added a lot more structure and a bit more of the modern game to the way they're playing, because clearly he was at Adelaide for about 5 years maybe. So that was obvious that it was their method against our method. And it took a while to grind out a result for us, definitely, because of that. In fact, they've got some good players, especially in their back half with players like Presbury and Hable, and then you've got Hoskin, who's a very, very good player that can play forward or in the midfield, and then the Schiller boys and so forth. So yeah, no, it was always going to be a tough encounter, and took a while to grind them down. Yeah, definitely been some slow starts, which we're trying to address. Is it warm-up? Is it the players' preparation? Yeah, we're trying to identify what it is. But once we settle, we're clearly looking good. But at the other end of the scale, by the end of the game, we're actually running on. In most of the games, we've been pretty good, which is a good sign for our fitness people and performance people. I was a little bit disappointed with a couple of things late in the quarter, because I felt we had the breeze in the first quarter and we were down by 4 points. So that was interesting. Then in the second quarter, we fought pretty hard to peg a few goals back, and it was level with only about 10 minutes to go. And then we conceded 2 late goals, which was a little bit frustrating, because some of them were things that I think we could actually control. So I had some quite strong, stern words at half time, just to look into their eyes and sort of sense, did they think they could win this game of footy, and the third quarter was going to be pretty important to hang in there. And fortunately, Centrals kicked very inaccurately in the first 10 minutes. Missed about 3 set shots at goal, I reckon, which helped us just stay in the contest. And then all of a sudden we got this turnover at half back, and when Tom Carroll kicked a long goal, you probably got a highlight of it, and that seemed to be the turning point. It was about the 15-minute mark of the third quarter. Then straight out of that next centre bounce, we got another goal, so we've gone from 17 points down to like 5 points. And I reckon that just gave the boys a bit of confidence, and they seemed to get an extra spring in their step. We lifted our intensity, especially our ability to cause turnovers from them, and that helped our defenders out, because then the defenders got a lot more dirty ball coming in, which allowed us to rebound a bit more, rather than just, it was very much a stoppage game up till then. But we were able to rebound on them a few times to get some scores, which were just invaluable at that time. And then it was just down to the last quarter. I reckon the breeze just dropped a little bit, and maybe went slightly across the ground too, which helped. So it wasn't as sort of set as what it was early, where it was going down to that southern end. And that helped us, because we were going up to the northern end, and kicked 4 goals to 0-4 in the last quarter. So it was a good result. Get our second win in a row. Yeah, no, I did speak to Tom about something to do with the forward line structure, that he was getting it right sometimes and not other times. So he responded big time in the second half. But even though I thought he was pretty much a 4-quarter game, it's just that when you are structuring up at a stoppage and they have a spare, and you just leave that spare influence, that's annoying. When other times we didn't, and we looked good going the other way, it didn't matter about the spare. We were just a bit inconsistent with that, so that's what I had a bit of a go at him about. But then you look at Logan Hill's been pretty good for 2 or 3 weeks now. John O'Beach probably played his best game of the year before he went off. That middle last quarter, kicked the 3 goals and looked dangerous. So that's always pleasing. You know, Josh Schiller was another good performer for us. So when you got those guys going, it certainly does help the younger players. Luke Hable, that plays in the back line for them, is one of the best kicks in the competition. And I thought in the first quarter was having a bit of influence, so we just tried to stem the flow there a bit. So Connor had to sacrifice his game to just control him a bit, but still try and score on him. So he kicked 1-1 in the second half as well. So that was a good result for us, to keep Hable to only a few possessions after quarter time, which stopped a little bit of their flow coming out of defence, although Presbury was really good. And then Hoskin got back a bit as well to help out. But clearly if Hable had been going as well, it just might have given him another couple of scoring opportunities, just the way he plays. So I was really pleased with Connor to do that, team first approach, which is one of our big values. With Jade, the last 3 weeks, I reckon, he's been varying between, in the reserves, between in the ruck and forward, because Frane is there as well. But when Stewie went down, we had no hesitation in putting him in, and he played a big part in our second half because he got his hand to the ball a lot, which evened up the hit-outs and gave us a little bit of a chance at ground level. We're really steady, our midfield. Ed Allen played another good game, so that's been a bit of a find the last 2 weeks. Been really solid. Josh Schiller has that role. Also, Lucas Moline came in, or Moline, I should say, came in for his first game. Kicked a goal with his first kick, which was nice, but showed that he could belong at the level as well. And we had numerous other guys going in there just to help out along the way, which was really good. So I think we're getting a combined effort now of 4 or 5 guys going through there, which is going to help us. Kane Stevens is always going to be good for you, but to have some support for him is invaluable going forward.